Hi all, this is Dr. J at 11 coming to you live, streaming live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is a little icky, humid, rainy, drizzly, but not the hurricanes that will be bombarding Virginia and North Carolina. I feel bad for people living along the coast of those states. Come to Long Island, I'll put you up, you'll be safe. At least maybe I can give you some good stocks, hopefully, discuss, have a good, lively discussion. Maybe those hurricanes will fizzle out, kind of like some of my stocks. Well, I hope you've had a good couple of days. I was away. I'm very glad to be back amongst friends. So let's get right to the video tapes. Of course, before that, I want to urge you um, to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, to share the link if you like it, to like us if you like it. We're gonna review Geron, ANKS, CVM, ATHX, and ATNM, my 5 favorite biotechs. We're also going to take quick peeks at the Dow and the NASDAQ 100. So we've got a lot to do. Let's get to it. Of course, do your own due diligence. All right, here we go. I'm sharing screen so that you can see my charts. Takes about a second or two. Okay, what should we begin with? Let's begin with the indices. The Dow Jones Industrial Averages. I decided to use a weekly chart instead of the daily chart just to see if we see anything different. Well, we don't really. The highs of January have yet to be reached, although the S&P recently took out those highs. And the NASDAQ 100 in particular has been going wild, making new high after new high after new high. So the Dow is a clear laggard. However, it doesn't look bad at all, the chart. If you notice, we're in a nice upward channel here. Very nice upward channel. And let's take a look if this channel persists at about how long it'll take to reach 26,634. I always like to play this what if type of game. Well, okay, there's 26,616, I'm sorry, 26,616. It looks like about mid-October we'll be at that level and above. So if the Dow continues in this channel, it will just take out those highs come the third quarter, beginning of the third quarter. I am very optimistic about the fourth quarter rather. I'm sorry, the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, October, November, December, I think will be very, very strong. October maybe not as strong as November and December. We have to get those midterm elections over with. And unless something crazy transpires and with those midterm elections, I think we're going to have a fantastic November and December, probably into January. I think the markets are all going to fire on all cylinders, including some of these sectors that have to play catch up, like the IBB, like the Dow. So I think we're going to have a Macy's firework display come January. And maybe after that, we begin to fizzle. But I think the longest bull market in the history of bull markets, and one of the most strongest bull markets, perhaps if not the longest, is not going to go out with a whimper. I just don't think so. I mean, that's my opinion, of course. Everything I say is my opinion. I make my own opinions. I don't listen to other people's opinions. Maybe I should. All right, so let's take a look now at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ daily, new high after new high after new high. It's almost boring. Finds support at the 50-day moving average. It's almost boring, but we can live with this kind of boredom, can't we? I think so. So let's see. 9, 10, 9, 11, 9, 12. 912 today, we opened at 74.93, closed at 74.88. We were down 20 points, so 1/4 of 1%. No big deal. We're following a beautiful trend line. Besides the 50-day, we have a nice trend line going. I didn't draw it, but it's a beautiful upward trend line. So we're not in any kind of trouble here. The NASDAQ looks like it's going to continue to blaze the path for the rest of the market. So those FANG stocks, FAANG, that I've been talking about almost daily, they're going to be our leaders: Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. I like the two A's the best, Apple and Amazon. The weariest of Facebook and Netflix, but Netflix seems to not care that I'm wary of it, as it's doing rather well, at least today. Okay, so let's take a look at my 5 favorite biotechs in no particular order, just the order I have them on my screen from left to right. Geron. I gave an extensive midday report on the complicated relationship between Geron and J&J and the continuation decision that is due by the end of the month, whether Geron and J&J will continue or not. Of course, the decision is up to Janssen, a subsidiary of J&J, Janssen Oncology. The drug is called imetelstat, and if they walk away, Geron stock will tank. If they continue with the trials, Geron stock will do just fine, thank you. It'll continue. It'll probably break out of its upward trend line, go to about $8 or $9, and after that, it's anybody's guess. It still could be a long way to Tipperary if Tipperary is FDA approval. So I'm optimistic that we do get a continuation decision that's positive, hopefully as early as tomorrow, definitely by the end of the month. Tomorrow is an investors conference for J&J investors. Perhaps they break the news there. Okay, let's take a look at ATHX. I invite you to look at the video that I did midday. Just go to my channel and look it up and click it, and you might learn a lot about Geron, J&J. Oncosec Medical. I've been very high on this one, but it's not been very nice to me. Piercing its upward trend line, making a clean break of its upward trend line, which depresses Dr. J. So this is not a good sign, clearly a bad sign. I don't know how bad, but I mean, once it did that, it could retest the lows of August 2nd, so August 21, which is 133. I sure hope not, but it's certainly possible. Today's low was 142. So I don't know why all this weakness all of a sudden, but it's not looking so pretty. I'm not happy. It doesn't mean I'm selling my ATHX. It just means I'm not happy. Let's go to athx. Athx, what's the story with athx? That doesn't look right. That looks like an old chart. Let's refresh this. That looks right. Okay, $1.92 at the close today. Also, not the strongest chart. The only thing I take solace is the fact that 185, $1.85 is a nice double bottom, and it held 2 days ago, and it got as low as two pennies above that at 187. Yeah, 187 was the low on 9/11. 9/11. Okay. Uh, yeah. All right. So today it bounced back a little bit. I'm optimistic that we're going to now take an upward trajectory back to over 210 by the end of the month. That's where I would like to see athx over $2.10 a share by the end of the month. It's going to be, looks like a slow climb if it decides to take that climb. I don't want to see any more dropping. I don't want to see a close below $1.85. So this one is worth watching. It's not making another stock that's not been making me overjoyed with with positive feelings. So let's take a look at actinium. And by the way, I own a ton of athx. I'm very long athx. I'm very high athx as to its potential. So I love the fundamentals. I love the CEO, Gil Van Brocklin. I think he's a tremendous, energetic CEO with a vision. In one conference call after earnings, he said he has a vision of athx becoming the next cell gene. I like your vision, GVB. Let's see a little bump up in the price of the share. Actinium. Actinium actually closed up today. I thought it was more than a penny. I guess I thought it was up more than a penny. Let me just refresh that, make sure. Oh, it was up 3 pennies. That's more like it. Same number. All right, what were we missing? I don't know. In any event, this chart looks right. We've been hugging an ascending trend line, and the stock decided to plunge. The share plunged yesterday to a low of 60.5 pennies, only to come back with a vengeance, close near the high of the day at 66.1 pennies. It went as high as 0.667 today. It made a higher low and a higher high today. So we like that. It stopped by the 50-day moving average. I want to go through that tomorrow. I want to get above this ascending trend line for tomorrow. So I'm giving Actinium Pharmaceuticals homework. Do what you got to do, Mr. CEO, to get this share price up. It's to your benefit. It's to your shareholders' benefits. So I'm expecting good things with data. We're awaiting data, IOMAB A, IOMAB B, all kinds of trials here. So I think pending data, we should be in very good shape. I don't see it continuing down this lower trend line. I see it coming back up to the upper trend line. Just a little volatility in here. I think actinium should be a little more volatile than it has been over the last few months, going up and down a couple of pennies a day. Now we're in a 5 to 6 cent range a day. That's more like the volatility I would expect out of a penny stock such as this. So I see no reason to worry. I see possibly some very good things ahead, depending on some news, some data. So let's see what happens in the, I believe, the near future. We get news. Let's look at CVM. CVM has been my shining star over the last couple of weeks. Again, we picked it up in about $1.50, and it's done nothing but go up, making a high, taking out the old high on 9.6 at 444, pulling back understandably, only to march higher again. Today it tried to get to that $4 level and stay there. Let's see where it wound up. Wound up at 367, did hit a high of 407. So we're marching up, we're marching in the right direction. What's going on? Let me just refresh this. I'm not trusting any of my charts. Okay. 372 down 14 cents today. 407 was a high, close at 372, low of 365. After hours, 380. I didn't check the news, I didn't check the volume, so I don't know if that's a meaningful jump or not, but CVM certainly is on the right track. The chart is just a thing of beauty since it took out since it completed its U at $1.80 and just took off from there to close this gap, took off from there to take out the old high, and I think it's going to continue up. I see no reason why not. We're expecting news on data, probably months away still. So this chart has got lots of upward momentum. The stock has got lots of upward momentum. Very bullish. Again, I've been saying it all along. On this one, buy the dips, and if you like, if you're nimble enough, sell those rips. I tried that once. It worked out a little bit, didn't work out tremendously. I might try it again. So this is Dr. J going through his list of baby blue chips, I like to call them. And it's good to see you all again. I hope you enjoyed looking at the charts of Dr. J's favorite biotechs. I did promise I'd be adding a couple. Let me give you a name or two. I would like to add tomorrow possibly two other biotechs, Cytokinetics, CYTK, and Advaxis, ADXS. We might squeeze them in, take a look at their charts and talk about their fundamentals just a wee bit. This has been Dr. J broadcasting live from Eastern Long Island, New York. I bid you all shalom, sayonara, ciao.